My name is ELD, and this is Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. We've got Matt on a new Miracles Bant list versus another Matt on NickFit. Significant percentage of our metagame is comprised of Matts. And here we've got the Matt mirror match. Some basic lands for NickFit, not shocking. This Bant list going to have Arkham's Astrolabe, along with the traditional fetches and dual lands, to be able to cast really whatever spells it wants. However, this pulls towards just 3 colors: blue, green, and white. Oko, Swords to Plowshares, Veil of Summer, Monastery Mentor, just some of the cards that are enabled by that mana base. Force of Negation, stopping an early Oko for NickFit. The card is seeing a lot of play. Brainstorm along with Fetch Land here. Best combo in the game assembled for Matt. He'll need to recoup the card disadvantage from Force of Negation at some point. And now Scavenging Ooze. Not particularly threatening here. Swords to Plowshares. Going to go ahead and take him out. And a couple of cantrips being removed in response, trying to prevent future Snapcaster Mage utility. New cycle of Modern Horizons lands have been kind of peppered in to the format now. We do see the waterlogged, I believe it's Grotto for Matt. Blue, green, able to sacrifice to draw a card. Also solid with recursion. And Monastery Mentor, and that is a must answer, and there is an answer for it. Abrupt Decay, taking it out before a token is created. And Matt may have underestimated NickFit's ability to interact with that crucial spell. Not a lot of ways of getting that back, I'd imagine. And Eternal Witness. I believe that's Eternal Witness. That merits a Force of Will, pitching Force of Negation. Finally, 4 mana for Matt. Still behind with mana on board, unable to hardcast that Force of Will. Bant gonna jam another Mentor. And there's another Abrupt Decay for it. No response either, not getting a Monk token out of that. Now we've got a 3-mana Plague Engineer who really would not have cared if there were Monk tokens, so Matt with 2 cards left in hand, Force and a question mark. NickFit a couple of cards, so ahead on board, ahead with cards in hand, but Ponder. Digging. And an Ice Fang Coatl. And another Ice Fang, so we'll see if Matt has another Plague Engineer. That will feel pretty terrible. Cabal Therapy. 1 in hand. If he can sacrifice this Plague Engineer and get it back, that'll be a pretty big swing, clearing out the Force of Will. No, and it looks like just Toxic Deluge for 1. Swinging for 2. And Bant now on the back foot. Force of Will online, can hardcast the next threat. Nickfit Hellbent. Dryad Arbor adding to the clock. And a Pyroblast revealed. Two more damage. Is that Marin of the Clan Neltoth? I think that's a commander card that just starts bringing stuff back from the graveyard, potentially to the battlefield. So getting Eternal Witness back. Every time one of his creature dies, he's going to get an experience counter. And if the creature being returned, casting cost is equal to or less than, that actually goes to the battlefield instead of the hand. That is a commander card that is very, very difficult to contend with when left unchecked. Can generate massive amounts of card advantage turn after turn. As we saw, getting Eternal Witness back means that you're actually getting 2 cards back. You get the body that can be sacrificed on that Eternal Witness for effects like Phyrexian Tower, Cabal Therapy. And Nickfit taking down game number 1. I believe that's game number 1. I do all of these live, and I've been doing a lot of them today, so I apologize if I missed it, and we're going into game 3. We'll see at the end of this game. I'm going to go ahead and mark a win for Matt. I've seen this Bant list a couple of times today. And this might be game 3. We're about 14 minutes of gameplay in. I'm gonna stick with thinking that this is actually just game number 1, and Matt's got his back up against the wall. Sideboarding looks like Leyline of the Void as a playset available for Matt for other matchups. It is, I wouldn't say reaching a consensus, but it's slowly kind of continually ticking up in terms of popularity. The 4 ley lines compared to the mix of surgical extractions, Grafdigger's Cages, Rest in Peace. There's so many different cards that you can use to potentially handle graveyard strategies, and I think Leyline is becoming the no-nonsense answer when you're really having a difficult time with decks like Reanimator. People are finding room for the playset of Leylines. The London Mull really makes it attractive. You are going to be able to mull to it so much more often and have a much higher quality of hand when you do make that decision. In the past, you could mulligan and hit it, not as often, but you could hit it by aggressively mulliganing, but there was really no guarantee what the rest of your hand was going to look like. Often it was terrible. And you do want the rest of the hand. So we've got Brainstorm being resolved. Extra card may have stuck. You may have seen it. Not going to be relevant as he's going to be fetching. Recently changed the name of the channel. We were going under Brainstorm MTG. That predates my store here in Bellingham, Mass. ELD's Time Vault Games. Figured we'd get it all under the same umbrella. Icefang, Coatl. If you ever do make it down to the shop and you're featured in the feature match, you'll find yourself on camera here in these videos. That's every Wednesday and Friday. We do Legacy at 7 o'clock, and often on Saturdays we do much larger, at least once a month. So Monastery Mentor threatening on Matt's side of the board. Bant looking to be in slightly better shape. We've got an Assassin's Trophy targeting the Monastery Mentor, and we've got a Veil of Summer protecting this Assassin's Trophy. But there are a couple of Monk tokens getting made, so Matt will still need to follow up. I'm going to try and refer to them by their deck names, as this is a Matt mirror match. We do have like 6 Matts that play here, so not a super uncommon occurrence. Surgical now. He's going to find out what's going on. Pumping up the team. And I actually don't love that with this Sylvan Library in play. Getting a shuffle a little dicey, and this hand is legit. Looks like we've got Tyrant, Scorn, Oko, Leovold, Assassin's Trophy, Green Sun Zenith. Veil of Summer is being cleared out, but the shuffle is not without consequence. It looks like just 3 copies of Veil of Summer in the list. So that's... Oh, and that wasn't even to pump the monks. That was during the end step. Teferi. Bounces the library. And swinging for 5. Now, if he can stop anything too damaging from resolving here, he may be able to out-tempo the situation. We've got an Assassin's Trophy. And Veil of Summer protects on Matt's side now. Sylvan Library. And another Icefang Coatl enters the battlefield. Teferi does force Magic to play a little bit more like Pokemon or Hearthstone. You're only allowed to do stuff on your own turn. Really highlights the power of counter spells. We've got a Jace the Mind Sculptor coming down, pumping these 2 monks up. And now fetching. We'll see if Jace filled Matt's hand with cantrips. This could be over right now. Teferi plussing Arkham's Astrolabe. 1 more. No, just down to 2. Nick Fit in a very difficult spot, potentially dead to these 2 Icefang Coatls, even if he can muck up the ground. A Leovold and a Green Sun Zenith could potentially do that. Ooh. Engineered... Plague Engineer. That's going to potentially handle these Icefang Coatls. Will that be enough? Oh, no. No, he actually took out the monks. Is he not dead to this Plague Engineer? I'm sorry, to these Icefang Coatls. I'm a little mystified here. I'm falling off camera. I think with Teferi in play, yeah, this is going to be a wrap. We're going to be going on to game number 3. Snapcaster. for Brainstorm. As long as he doesn't swords this Plague Engineer. If those life totals are correct. Matt scooping it up there. We are going into game number 3. I'm not sure precisely what we witnessed there in the end game. It did look like, maybe those life totals were incorrect. Maybe those are swords to plowshares that went through earlier and the life wasn't added. Bant was firmly in the driver's seat, was going to be winning that game. It did look like all he needed to do was swing. That, I'm going to assume, was not the case. Perhaps I missed some life gain there, and the on-screen life totals were not adjusted. So going into game number 3, about a half hour into the match, we are doing this at double speed. So we have saved you about 16 minutes here, at least, compared to what it would normally take to watch this match. Let's see if we can have a thrilling conclusion to what has been a very interesting match so far. Nick Fit, one of those decks that's not in many people's testing gauntlets, but you should be aware of it. It's always there. In larger events, you're likely to see it at the tables, not necessarily as likely to play it as many of the more mainstream archetypes, but it is potentially very punishing with its mix of discard and strong board presence. Monastery Mentor going to the graveyard. Bant with a solid hand otherwise, a couple of lands, cantrip, Teferi. We'll see if his hand can hold up in the early game here. And we've got a Tarmogoyf. So a 3-4 early on. Brainstorming. And we see a Swords to Plowshares for the Bant player. Gonna make short work of this Goyf. Prismatic Vista. Grabbing that Plains. And he's going to go ahead and use the swords now. And throwing a Ponder out there as well. He's going to stay put with that. And Dryad Arbor coming down. Nick Fit not enjoying the type of acceleration that it does have access to. Veteran Explorer along with Cabal Therapy is really the main reason to play the deck. Can find you a ton of basics with a rise of Snow Control. Abrupt Decay taking out that Teferi, but it's already drawn a card, so that also doesn't feel great. It also bounced that Dryad Arbor, setting Matt back a turn in his mana development. Oko now comes down, making some food. And it looks like Battle of the Okos. Force of Negation, though, shows that Matt is the player who's more able to defend, at least on the stack. Three mana Leovold, Icefang Coatl. And it looks like he's going to stick. Matt can blank the Leovold. Bant giving Nick Fit a card in the process. And these Elks are running wild. Oko, just so much loyalty. Really incredible. Nick Fit still going after. Oko's loyalty. Thoughtseize gets denied by Veil of Summer. So good. Veil of Summer, just one of the best cards ever printed. And Swords to Plowshares, taking down that Leovold Elk. Bant's side of the board growing in danger. We've got 6 damage. Oh, and a Mentor as well, Leovold. Making some food. And sending, at this point, happy to trade a Snapcaster for this Dryad Arbor. And Tyrant Scorn. Taken down Monastery Mentor, but still plenty of damage on board to be worried about. 1 point of life left over after Oko activates. Right now he's facing down 6 damage. That food could become another attacker. Could potentially push him down to just 1. We've got a Green Sun Zenith for 2. What can he get that will be helpful here? Goyf is a big body until Oko gets involved. Then he'll just be a 3/3. Elks doing battle. 1 damage gets in the air. Oko with just so much mana, so much loyalty here. We got a Marin pulling back a Goyf. But again, he will be elked after returning. Oko's done enough work. Abrupt Decay clears him out of the way. A Goyf comes down. 8 life left to work with for Nickfit here. But the Monastery Mentor likely to be able to get much bigger than any of these other threats. 1 damage in the air. So it's Mentor versus Tarmogoyf here. Nickfit going to need an answer. Plague Engineer. That is a great answer. That's going to take out... And Snapcaster, yes. Scavenging Ooze can give a little bit of breathing room as well. Swords to Plowshares actually taking out the Tarmogoyf, which I think is a crucial error here. I think that Plague Engineer is the much bigger concern. Icefang Coatl trading with the Elked Marin. And Scavenging Ooze getting larger. Ponder, but again, no dividends being paid because of this Plague Engineer. Looks like as we were getting down into the final minutes of this match, perhaps Bant playing a little too quickly. It looks like really needed the swords, that Plague Engineer. Sending the team. Scavenging Ooze, chump blocked. Sylvan Library. Teferi bouncing the Scavenging Ooze, resetting all of those counters. We have a Snapcaster Mage. For the Swords to Plowshares, but the Snapcaster will be dead. So Snapcasters enters the battlefield targeting the Plague Engineer, targeting the card in the graveyard. At that point, state-based effects would check. This Snapcaster shouldn't be on the battlefield. We've got a Green Sun Zenith. For Questing Beast. Wow. There's a mountain of text on that card, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to get blocked and it's going to kill Teferi and do 4 damage. Wow. What a bomb. That card, I think that might be the first time we've had that on camera. That card does work. Also prevents damage from being prevented. So True Name Nemesis, Progenitus, you name it. They are not able to prevent the damage from him. 3 life being gained off of the food. Leveling up and getting it done. So Matt wins as he should have after that Snapcaster issue there. I'm glad that he still got the win despite that little error. These things do happen on occasion. So just something to keep in mind there. But wow, Questing Beast just showed up and ended that party. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.